Hey, so now I am in 1 Samuel. I'm reading for 1 Samuel chapter 2 to chapter 2, verse 1 through verse 36. So it begins with Hannah's prayer. She's giving honor to God. She's very faithful to him. They start off with her giving unto God. So she has her prayer. It's called Hannah's prayer. And then it goes on to talk about Eli's sons. They are wicked. They're wicked, stubborn, disobedient, all those words. They're all about themselves. And there are two of them. So, and they only care about themselves. They will go to the offering where the people take food to sacrifice, and they would just go up there and take whatever they see, and make it harder for the people. The people come there to give offerings to God, and they will come and say, well, we want this, we want that, we want it now. They didn't care. They were all about themselves. And they were greedy, and their dad was also greedy. He was the same way. He probably wasn't as bad, but he was greedy too, and I'm sure they got it from their dad, their greedy ways. So, but their dad was raising Samuel, and Samuel was ministering before the Lord, wearing a linen ephod. I don't know how that's pronounced. His mother used to make it for him, and she would, take him stuff, you know, because he was separated from his mom. But Hannah eventually had more children. She had 3 more sons, and she had 2 more daughters with her husband. Okay, so the prophecy against Eli's household. So Eli was kind of embarrassed of his sons, because his sons, they were kind of out of control, because people was telling him, how his sons were. They would go and would be with different women, and people would talk. People come back and your children act out of control. People say, we saw your sons. Your sons were doing this and that, but he didn't seem to have much control over them. So it was like whatever. I guess he was ashamed, but he couldn't really do much. He couldn't do much for them, because they was at that point they were just out of control anyway. So, but their dad was kind of greedy too. So a man came down and told their dad, since my ancestors fed your ancestors, or I fed your ancestor in Egypt when they were slaves. And he was telling Eli, I helped your ancestor out. Years ago I helped them with this, and I helped them get away from Pharaoh. And but care to you don't care to help me now, or anybody else, because they were so greedy. They were all about themselves. So the man told him, oh, you're going to be cursed. You and your family will be cursed. Everybody will die, and they won't live to old age. They will die before they're old. And he told them, both of your sons will die, and they will die on the same day. And so basically, this is what was coming from this man. I don't know who this man is, but he says the only one that will live, it will only be that one will live to old age, and that person should like weep and grieve and just be sad because of all the things that's going on in their family. So it will be one that will live long enough to witness it, I guess. Um, they will all die by swords, so they will all be killed. And the sons are Hophni, and Phineas shall be a time sign to you. Both of them shall die on the same day. I will raise up for myself a faithful priest who shall do according to what is in my heart and my mind. I will build him a sure house, and he shall go in and out before my anointed one forever. Everyone who is left in your family shall come to implore him for a piece of silver, for a piece of silver and or a loaf of bread, and shall say, "Please put me in one of your priest places, that I may eat a morsel of bread." So his family, Eli's family, will become the beggars. They will no longer be um the people that have everything. So they won't now they will have to get food from people because they will be cursed because of the way their ancestors did, which is Eli will be the ancestor. So he is basically cursing his family line because of the way he's treating people. They they have seemed like they were blessed, with a lot, and they never shared, and they were just kind of stubborn and greedy. And even though they were priests, I'm trying to understand. Well, I know Eli was a priest, so I'm not really sure about his sons. I'm still learning this, but even though he was a priest, he was still kind of selfish and stubborn and greedy. He was all about himself and his family, his household. He wasn't concerned about anybody else. So when the man came, he told him, you wouldn't even feed me, or you won't help me, but I fed your ancestor. I helped your ancestor escape from Pharaoh. And you know this, but you still wouldn't help me. So that's how greedy he was. Eli was. He didn't care. He was like, well, I guess he felt like, well, that's not my problem. You helped them. So, but this man told him, okay, well, since you feel this way, so you don't care, well, I'm going to do something to make you care. And I'm going to show you. So this is what he did. And, yeah. So this is my understanding. So if I said something wrong, you correct me, because it's the first time I ever read this chapter. So yes, this is 1 Samuel 2 through 36, and this is basically talking about the prophecy against Eli's household. Yes, so they were just the children. I guess they were spoiled. They had a lot of stuff, so they were just spoiled and disrespectful. And you know how some kids are just out of control, and the parents know, but the parents can't do anything about them. And people talk about them, say, "Well, your child did this and your child did that," and the parents like, "Okay, I talked to them," but they talk to them, but they really don't have any control over them. And it seemed like Eli was kind of embarrassed from the way his sons, because people was telling him, that they were going and, being with women that served the interests of the tent of meetings, and they were just doing whatever they wanted to do. And yeah, so, same way some kids are nowadays. They don't listen. But anyway, that's the end of that.